Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from The Pink Designs. My project today is this box. It measures 3 by 4 by 1 and it opens this way. Goodness, just like that. I did some blending with a blending brush, and I think I did a little bit too much on this one, so we're going to leave it a little bit more. It just looks like a piece of cardstock, so I'm going to put a little less blending on that and maybe move these leaves a little bit, but it's going to be basically the same. I'm using a new set, gorgeously made stamp set and dies, and I just love this notebook die. I think that's such a cool thing. We lost one on one of the sets that retired, so I was glad we got it back. All right, what we need for this project is a piece of soft seafoam that is 10 by 8.5. I'm using the delightfully eclectic DSP again. We need 4 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. That goes on the flap, inside the flap, and the front and the back of the actual box part. I need 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 3 3/4 and 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 2 3/4. All right, so that's our DSP. I cut 2 of these greenery pieces from the dies, one from Old Olive and one from Soft Seafoam. So that's what we're going to be using for this. All right, and then I used a piece of basic white cardstock that was 2.5 by 3 5/8, and then I cut that notebook die off the top of it, and it comes down to about 2.5 by 3.5 after you cut that top off. All right, and that's just basic white, and this is what we're going to blend and put the wording stamp on. All right, so I'm going to start with my piece of soft seafoam cardstock that is 10 by 8.5, and we're going to start on the 10-inch side, and we're going to score at 1, 5, and 6. Then we're going to turn it to the 8.5-inch side, and we're going to score at 1, 4, 5, and 8. All right. Now I'm just going to fold and burnish all of the score lines. All right, I have this plate. You're going to have to see all my writing. Sorry about that. But this is what we're going to do. And the skinniest rectangle is on the left-hand side. And there is 1-inch strips on the bottom and on the right. And this is what we're going to be doing. All right. So we're going to start over on the left-hand side, and we're going to go to the first score line, cut to the first score line, and wedge up into that skinny rectangle. Okay, then we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. Okay, then we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of this square. That makes the bottom tabs of our box. All right, now we're going to flip it over. The skinniest rectangle is now on our right-hand side. All right, we're going to go to the first score line. We're going to cut it to the second score line. We're going to get rid of this long rectangle on the bottom and wedge each side of the square. Okay, now we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line. So I'm going to go right so that we take off those 2 pieces. All right, we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line, get rid of this long rectangle, and wedge each side of the square. Okay, now we're going to go to the next score line, and we're going to cut it to the second score line, and then wedge up into that skinny rectangle. Okay, and that is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring and cutting. All right, now I'm going to get my tear and tape, and we're going to put it on what's left of the skinny rectangle. And take the backing off. Okay, flip over the whole thing, flip over the side with the tape and the other side to meet it. Close it. Okay. This is our back. So we're going to take the sides, put the side tabs in, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on each tab. I'm going to pull the back forward and then put some glue here and then close the front piece. Just make sure that your sides are nice and straight. All right, open it up and make sure that your inside tabs are adhered down. All right. And that is the basic box. Okay, now we need our DSP. Using a whole bunch this time. Now you don't have to put it on the back if you don't want to. All right, so we're going to put the pieces that are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, one on the flap front. I'm going to use the stripes on the flat inside flap, and then the other two on the front and the back of the body of the box. All right. Okay, now the pieces that are 3/4 by 3 3/4, the long sides, and the pieces that are 3/4 by 2 3/4, the short sides. Alright, now we're going to just let this dry a little while. And now I'm going to use just a scrap piece of paper. And in comes our piece of basic white that we cut the top of. That is now 2.5 by 3.5. Alright, and I'm going to get my Bubble Bath ink. And I'm going to try not to get it as heavily covered as this. So I'm going to start heavy on the bottom left. And then just kind of move up, make it a little bit lighter in spots. There we go. Okay, I really didn't have to try as hard as I did the last time. Okay, now I'm going to get my Smokey Slate ink, and I'm going to stamp the image of the words kind of, but I'm going to stamp it off once to make it a little softer. Maybe one right there. That one's a little crooked. I would have preferred it to not to be crooked, but okay. And then we have our little bits of wording. We also needed a piece of a little scrap of basic white to stamp our little thank you on with, again, with Smokey Slate ink. And then I'm taking this die from the same die set, Gorgeously Made, and I'm going to put the thank you in the middle. And I'm going to cut that out in a little bit. So now we have this, and I'm going to just kind of mess up the top a little so it looks like it was just ripped out. Now we need our two branches, and I'm just kind of going to offset them just a little bit, just like a little bit more, just like that. All right, so what I'm going to do to keep them there, maybe I'm going to use this scrap again just in case, is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right, oops, it's a lot, right on that bottom where there's a little bit more meat to grab onto of the stem. And I'm just going to glue them so that they're just slightly right next to each other, but kind of the same. Okay, now we need our silicone mat. And a sponge, and we're going to use some ink. I'm sorry, we're going to use some glue. Alright, and now I'm just going to pounce the glue. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to try to get a little bit of glue on each area so that we don't have to mess with trying to get glue there. All right, and then I'm just going to kind of make this a little bit diagonal, and then I'm just going to press it down. You could press with a tissue so that any type of glue that's sticking out will kind of come up. All right, now we can get rid of this, and I'm just going to wipe off my mat. I love this mat, it's so useful. Okay, now you would put whatever you want in here. Now let me see if a glue, yeah, a glue will fit in there sideways, like it's leaning over a little bit. And let me see if the Memento Black ink pad will fit in there. The Tuxedo Black, I should say. All right, so that gives you a little bit of an idea what will fit in. And now I'm just going to put some ribbon to close it. You could use a Velcro dot if you want, but today I'm going to use ribbon. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it, this is how I find it easier to tie a bow. I lay it so that the ribbon goes under the box. All right, and then I bring it, we want to leave it so that they have a little extra so that when they retie it, it's not too hard. All right, so then I'm going to just tie a knot once, get it where you want it, in the middle. All right, and then with the lower piece, I'm going to make a loop, and then I'm going to bring the ribbon around the back, the other side around the back, and stick it through the hole where my other finger is, and then just pull. And you'll have to, well, I always have to adjust my bows until I get them just the right size on each side. But that makes it so that most of the time your, I don't know, what is this? Your ends are both on the bottom. I used to get one on the top and one on the bottom, so that helps me most of the time, let's say. All right, now I'm going to put dimensionals on all four corners and one in the middle. All right, and then I'm just going to place this again. I'm going to make sure that some of these are kind of tattered looking. All right, and I'm just going to put this right in the middle. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to get my thank you, and we're going to want to put it about right here. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Then I'm going to put it down. I'm going to let it hang over the edge of this piece right here, just about 1/8 of an inch. All right, and then I'm going to get my linen thread. I just got a new one. Okay, and I'm going to tie a small bow and just cut it off. All right, and I'm just going to lay that right here next to the thank you, and I'm going to put just a dab of liquid glue because this is not big enough for a glue dot. Just hold that for a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to get some of the Ombre matte decorative dots, and we're going to use the old olive ones and my take your pick tool. And I'm going to put, this got out, a large one on the end of my sentiment, but maybe I want it up to the top a little bit. There we go. And then another large one down here. And a small one up there. There you go. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. My email is below. Also the links to my shop. Please use this host code if you're going to be spending anything under $150, not including tax and shipping. And also the link to my blog that has all of the measurements. All right, have a great day, and I will see you Friday. Bye.